Hi everyone, this is how we're going to be doing our track parent meeting for the year. My name is Coach Peaks and I'm the head coach. I also coach high jump, relays, and sprinters. Coach Keeler does shot put, discus, and hurdles. Coach Grayson does triple jump and distance, and then Coach Politis does long jump, relays, and sprinters. If you don't know what track and field is, it is 17 events, 11 running, and 6 field. The running events are split into 4 different categories of sprints, hurdles, distance, and then relays. Field events are split into 2 categories. You have jumping and then throwing events, and then you can read up on those if you would like. But then we'll go ahead and get started with the rest of our meeting. Track tryouts for the field events are going to be Monday, January 27th through Wednesday, January 29th. All 3 of these days will be starting at 7 a.m. Athletes will enter through the side doors of the small gym, and those doors are going to be open at 6:45. For field event tryouts, athletes are going to be rotating through the field events. And then due to the nature of track and the entries, getting smaller at each meet, we're going to be making the first round of cuts on Wednesday after that 3rd day of tryouts, and then we will go down from there each week because it gets smaller and smaller, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. Track practice, here's a link for the practice schedule. This is also in the newsletter. Things to bring to practice are obviously water. They need to wear their Hudson Bend athletic wear and their school sweats that we have handed out. Because we practice in the morning and it is February, it's going to be cold, and so they are able to wear cold weather gear to stay warm throughout the practice. So if they want to wear tights, if they want to wear gloves or ear warmers or a long sleeve shirt underneath their sweats, that they can absolutely do that. Practice times for field events are going to be in the morning from 7:30 to 8:30. Again, athletes will enter through the side doors, and those doors will open at 7:15. And then running practice will be during the period. So first period will be 7th grade running, and then 4th period will be 8th grade running. If your athlete is not participating in a field event, then they don't have to come to morning practice. They will do their running during the class period, and then that'll be it for them. If your athlete does pole vault, we do have one pole vault coach, Coach Pruitt, and so he will be in the afternoon. So if your athlete is doing pole vault, then they will have practice in the afternoon. Just like with every other sport that we have at Hudson Bend, practice is mandatory. We only have about 16 practices throughout the entire season, so it's a very short season. So that means that being at every practice is critical and crucial to make sure that we're maximizing our time. Hudson Bend practice and meets take priority over club sports, just like with every other sport that we have here at Hudson Bend. Every athlete is involved in track, and so they need to attend our practices. And if they get invited to a meet, then they need to attend those meets. If you have a conflict, like we understand things happen, please let me know as soon as possible, because it's really important that we have, if at all possible, we have notice in advance so that we can have the correct relay team, or we can make sure that we have an extra person coming to the meet, that sort of thing. If athletes have to miss a meet because of an outside of school sport, they've essentially given up their spot. So in order to go to the following meet, they have to earn their way back. So that might mean a jump off, or they might have to have a run off. Those are just a couple of examples. Because it is an outdoor sport, the weather does matter. But even if the weather is bad, it's raining, there's a thunderstorm, it's really, really, really extra cold, then we'll move inside to the gym, but we're always going to have practice. Practice is an opportunity for us as coaches to evaluate and put athletes in the best position where they're going to be not only successful for themselves, but successful for the team. The first meet that we have coming up on February 5th, that is a run-only meet. So everyone's going to be in an event. So as we progress through the track season, we whittle it down. So those with the top times, jumps, throws, they're going to continue on. essentially what happens is the first meet is unlimited. The second meet, we have a smaller number that we can bring, and then the next meet even smaller, till we get to district, and that's only 3 entries per event. So we really have to get it down in a short amount of time. But if an athlete does not qualify for a meet, she's still able to attend practice and continue to be part of the track team. So essentially there's no cuts from track except for field events, and then we just have to get smaller throughout the entire season. Track meet information, there's a link for that. It's also in the newsletter. Weekly information sheets, so we get those from the coaches that are hosting the meet, and as soon as we get those, we will send it out to y'all in the most precise information that y'all need specifically. That will go out in the newsletter, and it'll be posted in Schoology for the athletes to go look at. Uniform and equipment, we're going to provide all equipment except for track spikes, and those aren't required at the start of the season. But if your athlete is a sprinter, hurdles, jumper, that type of thing, spikes do really help because they're not as clunky. They have, they're called spikes, so they have little spikes at the end or at the bottom of the shoes that really grip onto the track. So it does help, but they're not required. One thing that I love about track is that the events pick your athlete and not the other way around. Times and jumps and throws don't lie, and our job as coaches is to put your athlete in the best possible spot for them to be successful and to help the team. We base our decisions based on times and distances. It's not a popularity contest. It's not like, oh, I want this person to go, right? It's who's going to be the best in that event and in that spot. So that's a great thing about track. Transportation, your athlete's going to be expected to ride the bus to the meet, but it's highly, highly recommended to be picked up after their last event. If your athlete only does a field event, then they're probably going to be done before 6, and we would hate for them to be at the meet until 9:30 and get home super late, if at all possible, to be picked up. However, we will always have a bus coming back to Hudson Bend if that is needed. Game day meals, we're not going to be offering Jason's Deli for track meets, but I would suggest packing your athlete with a second lunch or a few healthy snacks for the meet. Nothing heavy, so chips, candy, soda, canes, even though it smells really good in the hallway, that's not really a great option for a track meet. So fruit, protein, things like that. The t-shirt store is already open, and it closes on January 26th at midnight or 1 minute before midnight. We should get the shirts before our first meet, February 5th. And so please, please, please make sure that you buy or you get your athlete a shirt before then. This is the shirt. The blue shirt is what they're going to wear to every track meet. And yes, we understand that blue is not a school color, but it helps us identify our athletes from across the way. Everyone is in every different spot, and so it's really easy to look across the field, see someone in a blue shirt, and know that they're from Hudson Bend. On that note, as coaches, we're working. We're not there watching the meet. All of us have to work a field event. We're running around, we're timing. So please be patient with us whenever you sign out your athlete. And then we will post the girls' times, distances, throws, anything like that the next day. And it's going to be posted in Schoology. And then also, girls will find out their events the day before the meet. And then if you have any questions or your athlete has any questions, then they can absolutely come talk to us. Running shoes. So in order to limit injuries or pain, finding the proper running shoes for your athlete is going to be important. Nike free runs, Air Force Ones, Vans, Converse, right? Those aren't going to be the most helpful, and they're going to end up causing a lot of pain. Whenever we have athletes who struggle with shin splints or things like that, it can pretty much, a lot of it be traced back to what shoes that they're wearing, and the support that those shoes give them. So please get your athletes some running shoes, or at least tennis shoes, if at all possible, because we are going to be running pretty much every single day for 6 weeks. So just keep that in mind, please. If your athlete is injured, we do have a trainer available. Morning treatments with the trainer at the high school, and they start at 7. If you're not able to take your athlete at 7, please don't take them at any other time. Not only do they have classes that they have to teach, but they're also available for the high school athletes during the rest of the day. So the middle school time is at 7 a.m. So please try to be at the high school as close to 7 as possible. Communication will come through email, Schoology, and Remind. Because everyone is required to do track, we're just going to use the Athletic Remind that everyone should already be signed up for. If you aren't signed up for the Athletic Remind, please go back into one of Coach Keeler's newsletters and sign up so that we can easily get in contact with you if we need it, or you can get in contact with us. Parent roles. Please be supportive of your athlete as well as all of the other athletes competing. Track is an extremely, extremely hard sport, especially if you're doing one of the longer distances or a 400 or 300 hurdles or anything like that. It's really demanding and it's really difficult. And so it's really important that you be as supportive as possible. But we know you already do such a great job of this. Just wanted to put that little reminder out there. Obviously, if you have any questions, please email me or email one of the coaches and they can get it to me. But super excited for track season to start. Our 8th graders now won district last year, and so we're looking to go back to back. Looking forward to a great season. Again, if you have any questions, let me know.